Do we need to stream?
Yes, it's streaming on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Good morning, all. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Imad Abu Arab. I am faculty in the medical school here at the University of Michigan. I wanted to welcome you all to our second annual Doctors Against Genocide conference. Just a few logistics before. The bathrooms will be through here to your left down the hall. The doors will have access to in and out for until 5 p.m. Beyond 5 p.m., the doors will close on your way back out. So we're going to go till 6 p.m. So just in case you leave after 5, you can't get back in. Wanted to just do a quick thank you to my amazing medical students who I think are probably out there working at the tables and doing all the work that they're doing. So I wanted to give thanks to them. We thought it was very important to host this conference at a university medical school here in the United States, given the frequent repression we've seen on college campuses and the lack of recognition of the genocide going on in Gaza and elsewhere. And so we're happy to be here and happy to have you all. Let me introduce our co-founders from Doctors Against Genocide, Dr. Hawash and Mesa.
Thank you so much, Imad. Without Imad, this would not have happened. And he has not seen his family for the past 4 days working on this, so extra thank you. He has 2 small children. My name is Karama Hawash Kumerli. I'm a pediatric neurologist in Boston. I'm the co-founder of Doctors Against Genocide. Dr. Jbour is fashionably late. He's the co-founder of Doctors Against Genocide, but he will show up. I think we all share the same feelings of grief, of anger. We are all sick from genocide. We are sick from the genocide in Gaza. We are also sick from the genocides that are unseen and unnoticed in Congo, in Sudan, in Rohingya, and in other places of the world. We want to focus on every genocide as Doctors Against Genocide. So you will be hearing from our panelists today on how the intersectionality of fighting genocide happens. I am very proud to say most of our speakers are Doctors Against Genocide members. And I have never imagined meeting such amazing, talented, professional, brave, genuine human beings who are giving up so much to put energy into this fight and to help alleviate the suffering of others. I am in awe of every single one of you, and thank you so much for coming. For our audience, this Doctors Against Genocide conference is the second annual conference. A lot of us in the leadership are Palestinians. We have been in pain for the past 2 years. It has been an incredibly difficult 2 years for us. And we are so grateful for those of you who have been with us in this journey, supporting us, lifting our spirits, and helping us feel not isolated and actually feel in community constantly. So for all of you, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. This is a do-it-yourself conference. We did not have any event planner. We did not have any conference team. Most of us have never organized a conference before. Forgive us if there are hiccups. Forgive us if there are mistakes here and there. We are trying our best, and we know each other. So hopefully this will be a community event. And I'm also hopeful that we will come out of this conference feeling empowered as a medical community with knowledge and ways to advocate against genocide collectively. So thank you so much. I give it to Maysa Hawash. She is our Executive Director of Strategy at Doctors Against Genocide, one of the leading founders of Doctors Against Genocide, and she will take us quickly through our conference today.
Thank you all for being here. My name is Maysa, and I currently live in Toronto, Canada. I traveled here with Dr. Yiping Ji yesterday. We drove and we attended an event in Windsor where we actually were in community with an amazing group of people. Marta and Brett were there as well. So the conference this year is really focused on the role of the medical community in confronting genocide. And the goal of this 2 days convening is to come out with actionable, tangible ways that the medical community can rise against genocide anywhere in the world. So as Karama mentioned, there will be a lot of intersectionality discussions because genocide, as we know, doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long process. And so we will have scholars, legal experts, medical experts to talk about the different ways in which a genocide manifests. We will also focus on the medical definition of genocide as a way to mobilize the healthcare community to take a more active role in the prevention where we've seen how the legal systems have failed us. We want to mobilize the healthcare workers to really take an active role in confronting genocide. We're going to have case studies, obviously from Gaza, but also other areas that are impacted by genocide, Congo, Sudan, Tigray, Bosnia, and other areas. And we will be launching our inaugural Doctors Against Genocide journal. So we're going to be inviting submissions to be entered into the Journal of Doctors Against Genocide. The format of the event, as Karama said, it is a do-it-yourself. We had an amazing team of volunteers who put this together in a fairly short period of time. Karama and I just actually traveled from Palestine yesterday and the day before. We had a family situation in Palestine. We're so grateful for all the amazing work just to come here and to find everything set up so amazingly. So thank you so much. And we are going to be operating in a hybrid format. So there will be obviously the sessions here, and we have speakers from Gaza, from other parts that we will always prioritize because, as you know, the internet connectivity is very limited in Gaza. So we'll please be flexible with us as we accommodate our speakers from Gaza. So the next 2 days, we hope to see engagement, more courage and more, co-learning together as we explore ways that the medical community can really be at the forefront of fighting genocides. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maysa. So we will start, and this will be our most important panel, and it will set the tone for the day. We are hoping to have our colleagues from Gaza joining us. We are aware of the situation and how it affects connectivity and internet. Most of you know that Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra is one of our close friends and a regular presence on our medical webinars. We are waiting for him to join us. We have Dr. Mustafa Barghouti, who will join us from the West Bank. Dr. Mustafa is a very outspoken Palestinian doctor who is definitely a doctor against genocide in action. He is the director of the Palestinian Medical Relief. I hope I'm saying it right. It's Al-Ighatha Tibbiya in Arabic. which has been a very impactful NGO in Palestine. We also have Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra is the director of pediatrics in Nasser Medical Complex. We have Izzuddin Lulu. Hopefully he will join us soon. Izzuddin is one of those incredible individuals who single-handedly made a big difference in his community after suffering severe loss, where many of his family members are still buried under the rubble in Gaza. We have Mr. Iyad Amawi. Mr. Iyad is a personal friend of many of us. He is the director of aid in many areas in Gaza, and he is also a very outspoken Palestinian who gives us a lot of insight, deep insight on daily basis on what is happening in Gaza. Wow, they're here. I'm so happy to see Dr. Al-Farra and Dr. Iyad and Izzuddin.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
And last but not least, we are honored to have Hani Al-Madhoun in person. Many of you probably know Hani. He is from Gaza, from Beit Lahia, the most beautiful place in Gaza. Hani is the USA Director of Philanthropy in UNRWA. He is also the founder of Gaza Soup Kitchen. He and his family has been on the ground in Gaza providing aid, food, and support for thousands of people in Gaza. And Hani is a very loud, strong, brave voice against genocide. I follow him closely, and I'm always in awe of his ability to articulate his thoughts and ability to speak up for his people. It's a full panel, and I hope that we will have enough time to hear from everyone. If I may, I will start with our people from Gaza. Dr. Ahmed, so happy to see you. مش معقول قديش أنا مبسوطة إني شايفتك.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله جميعا. كيف حالكم؟
How are you, my friend? How are you? How are you, Maisa? How are you? Karama, Sir Nidal, Iyad, Izzuddin, Alexis, everyone, how are you?
We're good as long as you are good.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah that we are able to make this webinar with you. This is a great honor for me.
Of course. Inshallah, we'll be stay good and safe, inshallah, Dr. Ahmed.
Dr. Ahmed, please tell us about your work in Gaza and how are things now in Nasser Medical Complex.
Yes, please. I will start from the last events of evacuation of Gaza. You know that nearly 25 maybe قديش بتقدر عدد اللي غادروا غزة لغاية الآن؟ 500,000 people. 500,000 people nearly evacuated from Gaza in the last 2 weeks. Today, Al Jazeera asked me about the situation in Khan Yunis city by evacuation 500,000 people, and extra for the already overcrowded in Al Mawasi area and Khan Yunis city. I told them that it is not a matter of crowdiness and a matter of area. It's a matter of social and psychological trauma. Today, there is estimation that nearly 800 tons of TNT were explosive in Gaza City by report. You know, this is a car which is equipped by TNT. Nearly it takes 6 to 7 ton of TNT and explosive by the Palestinian people in Gaza. So what we can imagine about the psychological event or the complication that happening for the children and the families after that bombing in their areas, among them in their streets. So this is one of the example for suffering in Gaza City nowadays. We saw a lot of cases coming from Gaza City in a very critical condition, acute bronchiolitis. They were on oxygen and they were tired on the Rashid Street on their way to Nasser Medical Complex. A lot of women who were pregnant in the 7 month or 8 month, they lost their babies and threatened abortion due to stress and effort that they had suffered from while they were in the evacuation from Gaza to Khan Yunis. Actually, this is a very, very miserable situation. Already, Khan Yunis is overcrowded by the people in Al-Mawasi area. I couldn't imagine that more than 500,000 people are coming nowadays to Gaza. So again, Gaza is being killed in every possible way. You can they are inventing every time and every day, and they can invent another method or another way to kill. In Gaza, you can kill by sniper bullets, and this is common. You can kill by air drone, and this is also very common. You can starve it through blockade and famine, and this is also common. We are talking nowadays about a number that exceeds 400, 440. This is due to famine and starvation. You can kill by deprivation of drugs or medicine until patient die in silence. Even if you are a fetus in the womb, you can abort it in starving wombs. So you can choose the way, but this is one of the this is a collection of examples that happening in Gaza nowadays. So what is the situation in Khan Yunis city? You know, today while I'm coming to the hospital, I looked among those trapped in Khan Yunis city. They are complaining from fatigue, exhaustion, anemia, general weakness, muscle tension, dehydration, paleness, dry skin, weight loss, soft bone, and bowed legs, hair loss. They are complaining from tingling of the extremities, tremors in the lips, excessive sleep, poor vision, blurred vision, and even delirium. Today, I visited the out clinic of the malnutrition in my hospital. It was completely, I was completely shocked. Even the man who's working on TV for the media for Ministry of Health, he was shocked also about the number of cases that they are complaining from severe acute malnutrition. All the mothers and the babies, they are completely suffering from severe acute malnutrition. Even their mother, they are complaining from severe acute malnutrition. We reported a lot of cases, and we asked the mother about previous photos and the previous documentation about their babies. We were shocked also when we saw the picture before, when they were completely healthy, when were they blithering, when were they smiling. Nowadays they are depressed, they are shocked, they are sleepy, they lost the hair, they have alopecia, they have lost muscles, they have lost fat, they have lost everything. Even they have lost interesting in life. They depressed. They have something of an anxiety. Try to be alone. If the doctor tried to examine, if the doctor tried to offer something for the baby is crying weakly, and he's unable even to resist the doctor or to talk with the doctor. So I, in this meeting, I don't to look through the eye of the needle. We don't want to undermining the foundation of the health system, the destruction of the health system. We are talking about 38 hospitals were completely destroyed in Gaza in this war. We have to talk about the deprivation of the future. Now in Gaza, 50,000 orphan child are found nowadays in Gaza. And this is extremely painful, and a huge number of orphan babies. We have to mention about nearly 15,000 children are waiting to be referred outside Gaza for more evaluation because of destruction of the health sector in Gaza. So we have looking urgently to concentrate and immediate actions for opening of safe humanitarian corridors to guarantee the unrestricted flow of the aid and the protection of civilians from the policy of starvation and extermination. We have to mention that by statistics and by time, every 40 minutes a child is killed in Gaza, and every day hunger and contaminated water claim the lives of more innocents. The situation can no longer endure more reports. It required urgent action, and now and not tomorrow. I want also to mention, my friends, you are our voice. I would like here to express my great thanks for Dr. Mustafa Al-Barghouti, because he's the only voice that is shouting and screaming and always talking about the situation in Gaza, and he's fighting on the media for Gaza. Please, you have to know, my friends, that all the food are coming in Gaza nowadays is not a food for human beings. They are talking that about food is coming in Gaza. Gaza need 600 truck every day, and the actually is getting inside Gaza is just 50 truck and 50 trucks, and that trucks, they are just containing something not related to food. They are
Dr.
talking
Ahmed.
about, yes.
Dr. Ahmed, we love to hear from you forever, but we have a short time until our next panel starts. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna switch to Mr. Iyad. Dr. Mustafa, معلش, I'm gonna ask you to be patient with us because the internet in Gaza is very
Sure. Please give the priority to Gaza, please.
Shukran, thank you. So we go to Iyad and then Iyad, can we stay within like 7 to 10 minutes, please?
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone, inshallah, will. My greetings, first, and honor, privilege to participate in the second global conference of Doctors Against Genocide. And special thanks for all, but Dr. Mustafa Barghouti is our, mashallah, Allah يحفظك. We are following you very well from the beginning of this genocide, and your voice is reachable, really. Thank you so much from Gaza, from the heart of the suffering here.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are welcome. Okay, I will, Karma, talk about the Israeli plan against population here. As we talked before, key pillars, 6 key pillars. The first one is a gradual closure and total siege. The process began with the gradual closure of crossings and strict control over food supplies, eventually restricting even the population access to the carbohydrates, pushing them into near famine conditions. It's ongoing slightly from the beginning of the genocide until they strength and put all of the people under the hitting of the famine. The second pillar, spread chaos and undermining security. Deliberate fostering an environment of chaos by enabling gangs and dismantling public order, which has led to the collapse of core social values and deep sense of insecurity. The third, destroying human dignity through GHF aid distribution centers, imposing inhuman GHF distribution centers that act as a death traps, despite full awareness of the potential casualties. The insistence and these centers aim to condition people to compromise their dignity and moral values just to access food, resulting in deep social crisis. The fourth pillar, forcing repeated internal displacement. And this is very important, my audiences, my colleagues, compelling civilians to relocate multiple times within Gaza, accustoming them to force movement as a preparation for Netanyahu militia's so-called voluntary migration plan. This is must be mobilized, this concept. The 5 pillars, managing chaos and famine based on global pressure, adjusting the level of chaos and famine, deepening on the degree of international and media scrutiny, keeping the crisis controlled while steadily pursuing the plan's objectives. The 6th pillar, imposing a phantom economy or shadow economy or pseudo economy, crippling the natural economy, preventing the normal economy from functioning within Gaza, forcing reliance on humanitarian aid goods that are bought and sold multiple times, as we mentioned before, to cause inflation in prices rapidly and instrument, leading to a runaway inflation and exhausting the population purchasing power on top of the ongoing humanitarian disaster. The situation when I talk to you now, my colleagues, the ongoing expulsion of Gaza's population from forced migration to the attempt to dismantling of society. What's happening in Gaza town today is not simply internal displacement or natural population movement. It's a systematic, very well calculated policy, forced expulsion and carried out through firepower. It's escaping under fire, siege, starvation, and thirst. The hidden goal behind these measures is to normalize internal migration in people's minds, paving the way for an even more dangerous steps. The mass expulsion of Gaza's population, what Netanyahu describes as a voluntary migrations, is nothing but a blatant lie. What we are witnessing is organized forced displacement under the fire. When they grant our people just 3 up to 5 minutes to evacuate their apartments, and also force them to flee in the street without any basic needs, it's not displacement process, it's expulsion process. And also nowadays, the signs of famine are emerging again and again, as my colleague Dr. Ahmed mentioned. The signs of famine have become clearly visible now again. Many families have been forced to abandon their food supplies, whether in their destroyed apartments or in the tents from which they were expelled. The journey of displacement is harsh and costly. People can barely carry what little belongings they have left enduring and deliberate process designed to exhaust civilians to the maximum imaginable extent. And also the collapse of health sector, I will quote it, Dr. Ahmed was mentioned, is very great and enough. A severe shortage of basic necessities. There's a critical shortage of tents and available space to set them up. Nowadays, the South just shrank for 17 square kilometers. And I know thousands of people, many people to pitch their tents in area classified as a danger zones or red zones. No one can imagine what's happening now on the ground in the middle governance and the South governance. From my journey today, I witnessed, my testimony is recorded, thousands of people in the red zones, dangerous zones, even though the army continues to bomb indiscriminately, leaving no truly safe place. This has created a state of extreme risk and a complete absence of security for civilians. The policy of controlled chaos. This is very important point, my colleagues. None of this is random. Allowing aid to be looted, continuing the bombing and displacement, and denying the existence of safe areas are all deliberate steps in a calculated policy to dismantle society and collapse its social fabric, a direct path to achieving the criminal's plan. So my final statement, our duty in the face of this reality, in the face of this catastrophe, we must continue to apply pressure and refuse to surrender. We must amplify our voices globally, support the recent international reports documenting these crimes, and demanding the activation of 1950 Convention and other conventions that prohibits forced displacement. It's essential to reinforce the understandings that what's happening is not simply a war, but a population expulsion plan, and to intensify media campaign to expose this truth. Our shared humanity is the last line of defense, and we must believe that sustained pressure can make a difference, even in the face of such brutality. So, my colleagues, with my honor to participate with our webinar, Doctors Against Genocide, and we must increase awareness and talk a lot about the expulsion process. Dr. Mustafa is our grateful personality in the media. We'll talk more about the politicians' goals for Netanyahu and the criminals in the occupation and how we can face this brutality. This is very important stage in this genocide, my colleagues. Thank you so much again, all of you, and I hope we will be safe and continue our efforts with cooperation with all of you. Thank you so much, my colleagues. Everywhere.
Thank you, Iyad, so much. We are in constant conversation with Iyad, so and if anyone wants to connect with him, he is very generous with his time and his ideas. So thank you. Ez, please take the mic. You're next.
He's muted.
Oh, okay. If you just tell him he's muted. Ez, unmute yourself.
Ez, unmute yourself, please. You are muted.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my voice is clear.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me today, and thank you for Ahmed Al-Farra, Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra, and Mr. Iyad, and Dr. Mustafa, and Alexis, and all of you. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. My name is Azzuddin Samir Lolo. I'm a final year medical student from Gaza City and the founder and CEO of Sami Foundation. I want to begin to tell you where I'm right now. I live in Gaza City, especially in Tel El Hawa. Tel El Hawa now is a red zone, and as I record this message, life here is unbearably heavy. We are living death every minute, every second. Today alone, almost 10 buildings were bombed on every street where I live in, Tel El Hawa. Just minutes ago, 3 apartments blocked behind me were reduced to rubble. This is the reality I speak from. And you know, just yesterday, uh, and yesterday I was given a new medical title, not as a doctor, but as a patient. I was diagnosed as with acute obstructive uropathy due to 9 mm stone in my ureter. So tomorrow I'm scheduled for surgery, hopefully before any invasion makes things even more complicated. This is just one glimpse of how fragile and uncertain our lives are here, even as we continue our work and our studies under these circumstances. Before I share my own story, I want to speak about three of my colleagues because my story is not mine alone, is the story of the entire generation of medical students and doctors in Gaza. My friend Muhammad Al-Habibi was a medical student, a sixth-year medical student, full of dreams, determined to serve his people. He was killed before he could ever graduate, his white coat buried with him. My colleague Yara, a fifth-year medical student, was trapped under the rubble of her home for 2 full days. 2 days ago, her died, but her entire generation, entire family was gone as well. And my friend Sarah Al-Kahloud, a sixth-year medical student, was severely injured. She lost her leg. Her leg was amputated, while her younger sister, also a medical student in her second year, was killed in the same attack. Three students, three stories, one killed, one pulled from the rubble, one injured and grieving, only in 1 week. This is what it means to be the medical staff in Gaza. We are not only learners, we are survivors, witnesses, and too often casualties ourselves. On October 7th, it was my birthday. I celebrated it with my family. That night, the bombs began to fall. I thought losing my home and my art would be the hardest part in my life, but the real loss came later. On November 13th, while I was volunteering at Al Shifa Hospital during the siege, I received a call from another hospital, Dr. Fadl Naeem, the director of the Baptist Hospital, Al Ma'madani Hospital, and he said, "Az, we are sorry for your loss." I didn't understand because I was under siege in Al Shifa Hospital. Then came the words, "Az, your family, they are gone." My father, my brother, my grandmother, my uncles, my cousins, even my sister-in-law, who was pregnant and she was held American citizenship. 20 members of my family were killed in one airstrike. And to this day, they remain under the rubble in the Rimal. At that moment, I was not just a medical student losing patients, I was a son, I was a brother, a survivor losing his entire world and entire family. Since then, I have continued my studies. Inshallah, in just 40 days, I will graduate as a doctor. But imagine to graduate not in a hall filled with celebration, but under the sounds of drones. And I don't know if even I will be alive till 3 days to live our celebration and graduate from Faculty of Medicine. This is what it means to be a medical students and doctors in Gaza. We study in the dark, we take exams in war zones, and we learn medicine not only from books, but from mass casualties. From the grief, I remembered my father's values, my father's voice, to serve, to give back to my country. That is why I founded the Samir Foundation in his name. We started from nothing. Today, Samir Foundation is a UK registered non-profit organization and one of the largest medical student initiatives in Gaza. We have provided tuition and financial aid for more than 760 medical students. We renovated destroyed lecture halls and opened new training centers. We built the first medical hub, a solar-powered study with training centers. And just this week, we launched a scholarship, Samir Scholarship, that covered fees for 80 students who would have been forced to drop out. Alongside this, I launched the Samir Ambassadors Program. Now more than 350 medical students and doctors from 47 countries. This global community connects Gaza with the world, shares knowledge, raises awareness, and builds solidarity across borders. And as I said, in 40 days, I will graduate as a doctor, but I don't want to stop there, inshallah. My dream is to continue my journey in the USA, UK, or anything to pursue masters in the healthcare, leadership, and management, and to bring that knowledge back to rebuild healthcare in Gaza and to support medical education in crisis zones worldwide. Finally, today I stand. Thank you so much. Today I stand before you today with a simple message. We are not only victims, we are not only statistics, we are students, we are doctors, we are leaders in the making. And with your solidarity, through partnership, mentorship, and collaboration, we can turn pain into purpose and make sure that from another level, a generation of doctors rises. Finally, I would also like to extend our deepest gratitude to our partners, especially Doctors Against Genocide in the USA, whose solidarity and support have been making our projects in Gaza possible. With their partnership, we were able to bring life-changing initiatives to our students and doctors and our communities here, providing that when people unite across borders, real impact is achieved. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As always, you are an exemplary medical student. You are way more mature than most medical students we know of. And we appreciate you. We are so proud of the partnership with you. And we will never stop working with you as long as you want us to. We move to Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. We are over time, and after Dr. Mustafa, we will hear from Hani. Thank you so much for your patience, Dr. Mustafa.
My
Please go ahead.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for your wonderful work. I want to thank Doctors Against Genocide for this great work you are doing, for spreading the right information about what's going on and about everything you're helping with in Gaza and in Palestine in general. I want to thank Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra and Dr. Iyad for their kind words. And I want to say they are heroes. They are the real heroes in this fight, like all other doctors and medical students and medical people. And I want to wish Az a successful operation and that he will hopefully enjoy good health and will survive and will become a very good doctor, as I can expect, to join all of us in this wonderful work that we are doing to help our people. There are no words to say about the people who are steadfasting and stay in Gaza in particular, but especially those who are staying in Gaza City now under bombardment. I have my colleagues in Palestinian Medical Relief Society there. We have 80 medical teams working in Gaza, serving about 200,000 people every month. And many of them now are staying in Gaza. They're not leaving Gaza City. And they say we will stay with the people wherever they need us. And they are real heroes. I am supposed to speak about what's happening in the West Bank, but I cannot not start with saying a few words about Gaza. Gaza, dear colleagues, is subjected to terrible 3 war crimes in parallel. the war crime of genocide, the war crime of collective punishment, including starvation of people, and the war crime of ethnic cleansing. Unprecedented level of war crimes. We are talking about 11% of the population of Gaza who have been either killed or injured so far. Apply that number to the United States of America. That would be 33 million Americans killed or injured within the course of less than two years. What do you think the United States would have done if 1 million people were killed or injured? I'm sure they would have destroyed the world. And that is the reality that should be told. That 150,000 tons of explosives have been thrown on Gaza already. That's 70 kilograms of explosives for each man, woman, and child in Gaza. No children are 70 kilograms, but they receive 70 kilograms of American explosives that are given to Israel, or German explosives that are given to Israel. But people in Gaza are not only subjected to bombardment and genocide through bombardment, they're also subjected to a biological warfare. As my colleagues have described, people are getting sick around the clock. Every month, every person in Gaza gets sick 3 to 4 times because of lack of clean water, because of lack of food, because of malnutrition, because of depressed immunity. But Gaza is also subjected to an environmental disaster because Israel is using weapons and explosives that leave very bad impact on environment, on water, on the soil, including depleted uranium that is spread all over Gaza, and that will cause a lot of cases of cancer. But most importantly now is what's happening in Gaza City, where hundreds of thousands of people are subjected to terrible bombardment to force them to leave. And the goal of Israel is to destroy that most wonderful historical city in our history. That city that has been there for thousands and thousands of years, a long time before there was such a thing called Israel. In the West Bank, they are not also silent. We have been subjected, of course, it's not to be compared to the suffering in Gaza, but still, West Bank is now subjected to 1,000 checkpoints and military gates that have transformed many cities and communities and villages into small prisons. There is a process of ghettoization of the West Bank. There is a process through which Israeli settlers, terrorist settlers, are attacking Palestinian communities as terrorist gangs, reminding us of what the Israeli Zionist gangs did in 1948, the Etzel, the Haganah, and the others, to force Palestinians to leave. Already 60 Palestinian communities in the West Bank have been evicted and displaced and subjected to ethnic cleansing by Israeli terror, which is practiced not only by settler terrorists, but also by the Israeli army itself. More than that, the whole economic system is destroyed. I don't know if you know, but Israel is withholding $3 billion of our tax revenue to prevent us from having medications for sick people, to kill the educational system in Palestine. That's why patients with cancer in the West Bank do not have treatment, and they could die because of lack of medications and lack of treatment. There is a process of suffocation, trying to kill the whole health system, the educational system, the economic system. And it's one same attack, whether in Gaza or in the West Bank. It's an attack on Palestinian people, an attack on our right for self-determination, an attack on our right to have freedom and to have proper health care and proper medical care. I've been working and volunteering with medical relief for more than 45 years. I've seen so many atrocities by Israel. During the occupation, during the first intifada, the second intifada, and now during this terrible attack on our people in Gaza. But there is something I want you all to know. And I'm sure my colleagues in Gaza, whom I'm very proud of, Dr. Farra, Dr. Iyad, Dr. Izz, I should say, who he's going to be a doctor very soon, I'm sure they all share with me this opinion. Nothing in this world, nothing will break our will as people. Nothing will force us to surrender. Nothing will make us give up our rights and give up our work and give up our commitment to our people, to the sick people that we have to help, to the injured people that we have to treat, to the memory of those who died because of the Israeli bombardment and killing, and that want us to continue to do what we are doing, to keep Palestine alive, to keep the people of Palestine alive. Everything you do as Doctors Against Genocide will help us, and everything you do will help our people. This morning, I was speaking to another conference in London for justice, and I told them the same thing. There is no power in this world that will break the Palestinian people, and we will overcome with the steadfastness, resilience, and heroism of our people, including the heroism of our medical people, and with the help and support and solidarity of people like you. So thank you so much. And I promise you, there will come the day when Palestine will be free, and we will together go and visit Jerusalem and celebrate Palestinian freedom. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I really was excited when I got to know about Doctors Against Genocide. I wish it was under better circumstances. We met actually in Capitol Hill. There was members of Doctors Against Genocide who were new as an organization who came to Washington, D.C. to talk to our elected. Is this good? Which mic? This one? Good? You hear me? All right. So they came to Washington, D.C. to talk to members of Congress. At the time, we all knew the crimes. We did not understand it is going to be a full-blown genocide a few times over. All right. And that's how I get to know the organization and its leadership. I run the Gaza Soup Kitchen, but I also work to make sure organizations like UNRWA has the resources they need. I work in an organization called UNRWA USA. We make sure that UNRWA has the resources it needs. I want you to know that UNRWA remains on the ground in Gaza, so do not be confused about that. It is under unprecedented amount of threat, but since this is a medical community, about 15,000 visits happen every day in UNRWA's clinic. Every morning, the doctors at UNRWA see about 15,000 people. This is the size of people at Madison Square Garden. Imagine that. Every person sick and everybody needs a doctor. As much as UNRWA can, 15,000 consultations a day. Every day, the numbers changes because just last week alone, Israel destroyed the last remaining north of Gaza City health clinic. So tomorrow it might be 15,000 consultations. It might be in South Gaza. So I want you to know and not to be confused about the work of UNRWA. In addition to that, they deliver water. So please continue to support and advocate for the agency that it is the largest humanitarian actor inside Gaza. Thank you. I want to salute doctors in Gaza. They make me very proud. I recognize some of the names. I'm very proud of every one of them. I just want them to be alive and stay alive to help as many people as they can. It beats me to say this. There is nothing any of us is doing right now that is able to prevent the death and the murder in Gaza, but that is not an excuse for us to stop working. Make your phone calls to members of Congress, show up at the coffee hour, talk about Gaza, try to get us some allies as much as you can. It will eventually make a difference. Just right now, nobody's stopping these guys. And I know this, because my own family was forcibly removed, not evacuated, forcibly removed against their will. Evacuation makes it think, oh, there's a fire, let's evacuate them to safety. They're moving them to an area that they're also bombing as well. So I want to establish that. My own place, I looked at the map outside. I hope you guys get a chance to look at the maps outside. My home is across the street from Al Quds Hospital in Tel El Hawa, the area Dr. Ez mentioned earlier, and it's gone. And that's where the trauma is happening. I know that our family, through the Gaza Soup Kitchen, have taken over the YMCA location. Believe it or not, there is a YMCA in Gaza, and we turned it into an aid site. Every day we will deliver food. We have a soup kitchen. We have a doctor, Dr. Mohamed Sharif and Dr. Maher Al-Madhoun. They will maintain this operation. And we had to beg the doctors, tell them, hey, nobody's going to keep you safe. I've lost two of my brothers to this Israeli genocide. My brother Majid and his family in November 2023. And then exactly a year, they came and murdered my brother, Chef Mahmoud. They've sent a drone to kill a chef. And Mahmoud is really unique in a way because he used to be the fixer for Kamal Adwan Hospital. We love Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya. We pray for his safety, and I know he has affinity for this group. But before he was abducted from the hospital, everything he needed, food for the patients and the doctors, even a canned tomato paste. Dr. Ahmed Al-Kahlout, before he was killed, in fact, 2 days before Mahmoud, my own brother, was killed, asked for a can of tomato paste. And Mahmoud did not get a chance to give him that. And then a day later, Mahmoud was killed by the drone. So this is the stories, and I want to make sure, I want to make it real. I'm safe. You are safe. We want to really focus in the safety of the community here. We want to keep these physicians safe. Nobody's getting like, yes, I want all that. I want to chant. I want to say from all these things, but I also have an obligation to protect people as much as we can. That is why my brother Muhammad, I had to cut off all the money so he cannot do anything in Gaza City because he wanted to stay in Gaza City. Folks, this is a genocide. These people are not going to stop. Mahmoud had a high profile. He written an op-ed to the Washington Post. We thought that's going to save him. It did not. These people don't care. They're still investigating if they killed Mahmoud or not. We know he's dead. So this is what I want to say, like, think about the real impact for people. I want to be a hardliner. I want to, but it is the reality. They're being erased by the minute. Also look at the maps outside. You will see these GHF aid sites / humanitarian zones, which is really a concentration camp with a catering company. This is really what's happening, and people need to see this. The maps do not lie. Go see that white 3 areas. That's where they're pushing everybody towards. And there are 300 to 400, at least 400,000 people who are still mostly in West Gaza City. And we're trying to help. My family is trying to get food parcels and all that. But the Israelis just bombed a business that used to give food parcels for some of these UN agencies. They're going to come for the hospitals. Our team cried as they dropped off the last meal for the Ahri Hospital, the Baptist Hospital. They've delivered 150 meals and then another 150 meals for Nasser Hospital. And it feels like surrender because this is a displacement. Once again, my family have not left Gaza City or the north. This is just last week, the first time they ventured out of that area. And the reality, people don't have the resources. And the doctors will tell you the journey from Gaza City can cost up to $3,000. A tent in Gaza costs $1,500. Some people are taking advantage of this situation. It used to be $100, the supplier in India and Pakistan. Now we call and we say we want more. They say $500. Haram. And now what they tell you is only the stuff that comes from Israel is allowed. Meaning if an Israeli business makes $1, they're going to help and bring it into Gaza. A lot of complicit people, and I want you to have some hope. I know that my mother, she's in her 70s. She wakes up every day, goes to Nuwairi area. That's where the displaced people come. She greets them with cold water. In Gaza, cold water is like a gift right now. This is how desperate things are. Because of the thousands of people who just appeared overnight in the middle area, we're pushing to do more water trucks and keep people safe by providing these meals. The famine is real. We've seen it at our kitchens. It is food insecurity. I'd love to talk to you about this, answer your questions. There is a lot of information that are confusing to people. I'll be around here. You could catch me. I'm respectful of the time, and I really did not want to take the time away from the amazing people in Gaza, all the great panelists here, because this is their suffering. I'm here to work, allocate resources, help them and support them as much as I can. But we do a lot, but it's not enough. So I want to thank you guys for being here today. My name is Hani. I'll be here if you have any specific questions about UNRWA, about the Gaza Soup Kitchen. I would be honored to answer those questions. Have a good day.
Thank you. And your soul here in Gaza, we feeling you.
Take questions for Hani first. Hani, you want to come back? Good morning, everyone. How does this work? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. And Brother Hani, he has been in touch with the people of Gaza more than any one of us, all through and before that. And if you have any question about what's happening in Gaza, how we can help, please, we want to give him extra time because he can be more useful in this regard. Any questions for Brother Hani? Yes.
Dr. Nidal, السلام عليكم. Yeah. Dr. Nidal.
تفضل.
Yeah. Dr. Hani, thank you so much. And also your soul here with us in Gaza. We recognize that and with our pleasure and respectful for you. And we hope your family will be safe, inshallah. I hope to increase the awareness about the number of tents that we needed. There is very limitations, and the Israeli put struggles, and the limited number of tents will worsen the situation. So it's the big issue now. Even thought what the Israelis is still announcing they entering enough trucks. It's not true. It's completely lie. So we need to increase the pressure over this main issue now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, so the tent story is sad. It used to be $100, now it's $550 to buy it. And then you need an organization that's authorized by the Israelis to bring the two routes that we know of, because they want to take out UNRWA and all these UN agencies. Or I think I do not love some of the names I'm going to mention. You could ask me. The the World Central Kitchen is one of those groups that has special clearance from the Israelis to bring in some of these tents. And there's a group called GEMS, I think, a new group that allows aid. The reality is, I am telling you this as family, I'm trying even to source from an Israeli vendor because they can cut through the red tape. We have not made any agreements, anything like that. We found a vendor inside historic Palestine who actually works and takes bids from the UN. So we're hoping, because things are desperate, and I hate to be doing this, but we know now the Jordanian route is closed because of any excuse. So this is the tent situation. We are ready to place an order for 10,000 tents. We're negotiating the logistics. The issue is the last mile. It's not like if we can get it to Karim Abu Salem or Karim Shalom, as they call it. But the problem is who's gonna grab it and get it to Gaza. That's the disagreement. We don't know. Just to make this very brief, call to action. What can you do? Obviously, support your favorite charity. This is a great place to support. I've mentioned a few that you can support, but also spend your dollars where your values are. This is really important to me because you cannot be like going to a rally for Palestine and then paying for that overpriced cup of coffee or that beverage that people like, the soda. Your doctor doesn't like you to have soda. 3, really help the community litigate this. I'm sort of frustrated that our doctors stepped up. So many of you in the room went to Gaza, but I feel the lawyers have not stepped up in a way to sue these criminal enterprises like the Gaza the Gaza Horror Foundation. That's one. The Boston Consulting Group. So we need to up the litigation process. 3, this is really personal. Please, if you disagree with me, don't hate me over this. We have to also reclaim the American flag. We cannot let the Israelis, whenever they protest us, they show the Israeli flag and the American one. These guys are robbing America blind. They're tarnishing America's reputation. We're all Americans here, and I want to make sure we reclaim it because we're asking for something good, and this is something difficult. This is difficult. Why? My own family was murdered by American technology, but I want the guy in Idaho to look at us and say, I don't want kids to starve, but when some guy we never see shows up at our rally and this create the flag, that doesn't reflect well on us. Don't get me wrong, I understand this is difficult for many of us, but we have to play this game. And this is important because life's at stake. I'll stop there, and again, I'll answering questions in private. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move, do you have a question? You're in a hurry, honey. Come back.
Maybe the doctors in the call can talk about that. There are stuff that UNRWA brings, but they have to label it differently. It cannot say UNRWA, and a lot of partners help UNRWA bring the food and the supplies. The issue is, if UNRWA talks about everything they do, it's going to trigger certain Israeli politicians and take away these things. So some things are happening like water, mental health. This is really key. Mental health is at the missing piece in so many for us here and there. Are there UNRWA trucks allowed to get in? Yes, but they also get looted. And I could explain why the commercial truck goes in, no problem. 100% of the commercial trucks get in where you need to, but none of the aid groups, not just UNRWA. Is enough aid going in? No, there is not enough aid going on. But commercial stuff for sale, because this is part of the engineered suffering. So the medical evacuation, as I know it, and the doctors know more, I think the World Health Organization, maybe some Emirati Red Crescent is involved, but my own nephews need medical evacuation. I'm not even able to look into this for them. So it is not a very easy choice right now. And I don't know many places do that. I do know 550 patients and foreign nationals and visa holders were let go of Gaza just last week, according to Israeli reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Hani. Before we move to the second panel, I think I want to give our colleagues from Gaza last remarks for Dr. Ahmed. What do you want the people here in the United States to do today to help the people in Gaza? Dr. Ahmed? You are muted, Dr. Ahmed. You cannot hear me? Iyad, did you hear my question?
Yeah, I heard your question.
What can we do today, the people here? What is your question for us here? What can we do today to help the people of Gaza?
Firstly, we must increase the awareness about the new deception plan. That's volunteer migration. That's need Netanyahu to implement and to clarify it's acceptable for the world. So we must increase the pressure to refuse this. We are rooted here. We will not leave our land. So it's our land, our rights. So this is the maybe the critical moment in our life at this events. So we need to increase the pressure over those evils to stop the genocide at this level, to rescue what we can, Dr. Nadal and my colleagues. And also, I will quote it, increase the pressure to evacuate, especially the children. I know a lot of our children suffering from HUS and other immune diseases. They need to be evacuated. We still do our best for that, but we increase your pressure to evacuate children emergently, Dr. Nadal. No way to save them by these circumstances now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Iyad. Allah yahmiku and Allah yafrijha. And this is a call for all of us to do more, double down on whatever efforts we have been doing the last 2 years, because the genocide, unfortunately, is getting worse. This means we have to do more. What we have done is important, but the criminals need more pressure to stop them. So thank you, everyone. We're going to go to our next panel. We have our speaker, Alexis Primrose. She's a Holocaust and genocide scholar. She works independently, and she works mostly in the education sector about Holocaust in the educational system and genocides in the educational system. And she also works with the Lemkin Institute. She was supposed to be here, but for some unseen circumstances, she couldn't attend. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and share with us what you want to educate us about the process of genocide and the Holocaust. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadal. Thank you for having me. I really wish I could be there with you all in person today. But thank you for making it so I could still be there today. I'm going to keep my presentation short, so we can focus more on the really important discussion that is genocide and mass atrocities as a global public health emergency. So I really want to just take a couple of minutes to really try and help you all visualize the severe gravity that genocide and mass atrocities are currently posing to humanity around the world. So we do know most countries in the world have been touched by genocide. Just by looking at this map, we can see that most countries in the world have at least one recorded case of genocide, and this has been throughout history. In 2022, on the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, the European Parliament invited Holocaust survivor Margot Friedlander to speak about her experiences during the Holocaust. In her speech, she made an appeal to those listening with this quote: "What happened, happened. We can no longer change it. It must only never, ever happen again." The phrase "never again" has been used time and time again in memorial of tragedies and mass atrocities worldwide. It is the pledge that we as society, take to ensure that the tragedy that has happened will never happen again. Yet we know mass atrocities and genocide continue to claim the lives of millions of people. The phrase "never again" was first used in 1945 by survivors of the Buchenwald concentration camp. Following their liberation by American troops, Buchenwald survivors displayed signs that read "never again" in their native languages. Today, the phrase has been used in numerous official commemorations for the Holocaust, the Rwandan genocide, the Uyghur genocide, and the genocide in Gaza, and more. However, since the Holocaust ended in 1945, the world has witnessed at least 56 different genocides, with at least 14 currently ongoing as we speak. This is why Samantha Power refers to the phrase "never again" as the world's most unfulfilled promise. The book Worse Than War: Genocide, Eliminationism, and the Ongoing Assault of Humanity is highlighted that there have been more victims of genocide than all the wars or pandemics since the beginning of the 20th century. The book reads, "During the past century's second half and into the 21st century, the vast majority of people have lived in countries victimized by the systemic annihilation of parts of their population, either during their lifetimes or in their country's recent pasts. They have themselves been such annihilation's targets or near targets, been perpetrators or sympathized with perpetrators, or been related to, or on the sides of victims or perpetrators. For most people, mass murder and elimination have not been merely a distant problem, but integral and prominent in their mental, emotional, and existential landscape. This almost seems incomprehensible. So let's take a quick look at just some of the basic data that we have compiled on genocide. Currently, I have been working to gather the data on the number of victims of genocide for Doctors Against Genocide. This data will be available in the future, but for the sake of this presentation, we are going to use the parameters set in Worse Than War. And we're going to look at the number of victims of genocide since the 20th century. We also have the number of victims of all the wars since 1900 and all of the pandemics since the 20th century. Now let's just compare those numbers. As we can see, the reality is absolutely staggering. And I just want to point out that these are merely estimates because reporting of victims is so skewed and it's difficult to get an exact number. These are just merely estimates. But if we look at the deaths of genocides, we're looking at over 90 million to 353 plus million deaths in the last 125 years. Compared to deaths of war, deaths from war just under 79 million. Deaths from pandemics, anywhere from 115 to 119 million. Absolutely staggering differences. So what do we do with this knowledge? We see how absolutely grave the reality is for humanity experiencing genocides and mass atrocities. This is why Doctors Against Genocide refers to it, rightfully so, as a global public health emergency. So now I want to give more time to my colleagues to just further elaborate on the reality of this global public health emergency. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me? Okay. So we have been working with Lexi to compile this data because we are acutely aware that genocide is a medical crisis and a medical catastrophe. Genocide lowers life expectancy, causes a massive increase in chronic diseases, causes displacement, which affects access to health and access to community support, and makes the population that is exposed to genocide suffer from massive mental health crisis. We will be covering this throughout the next 2 days. This is our theme. Our theme is how does genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity affect health, and what is our role as a medical community in combating that? What we have done in our organization, Doctors Against Genocide, we have been working with epidemiologists, genocide scholars, and international law experts to work together and create a platform that helps us understand how this comes to fruition as a problem, how to speak about it. So it is important that everyone who calls themselves Doctors Against Genocide has the language, has the tools, and has the ability to advocate. This is the reason why we do Days on the Hill. When we do Days on the Hill, we actually compile the data on how genocide in Gaza is affecting health in order to advocate, educate elected officials, and bear witness. We also came up with the medical definition of genocide. The difference between the medical definition of genocide and the legal definition of genocide is the urgency. In the medical definition of genocide, we focus very much on detection of the signs and the symptoms of genocide as if it is a pathology, as if it is a medical disease. Once we understand the pattern of genocide, we as a medical communities are trained to look at patterns, diagnose them, and address the problem, the root cause, and treat it. We are the best population that is equipped to actually detect, diagnose, and prevent and treat. We submitted the medical definition to the United Nations. It was accepted by the UN Special Rapporteur on Health. We also have been educating ourselves and our members together by setting these weekly webinars where we talk about the medical definition of genocide. We talk to victims of genocide from different parts of the world. What is stunning is the consistency. It is a consistent pattern. The dehumanization happens and then a series of events lead to extermination and massive health difficulties. So bear with us as we put this picture together during this conference. I urge you to look at our website, study the medical definition of genocide. Our goal is to have this as a module for every medical school, for every nursing school, and on top of that, to actually advocate for the medical community to have a seat on the table in legal, international, and humanitarian law forums so that we are able to take our rightful role in preventing genocide. This only happens when we mobilize together in a serious way as a medical community. This also only happens when we understand that our political affiliation, our religious affiliation, our ethnic affiliation does not count when it comes to genocide. It is on us to see the pattern and say, this is a genocide, even if our family or our own people are doing it. This is something that we are not seeing with Gaza. We are seeing a lot of genocide denial. We are seeing a lot of efforts to minimize the impact on the population, a lot of coverage, a lot of our colleagues refusing to speak up, and a lot of us censored and silenced while we are advocating to save lives and save children. So our work is cut out for us, but we are up to the task. I think we all agree, right? Thank you so much.
Hello. Yeah, one more thing. So at 11 o'clock, okay, so 11 o'clock, we're going to have the Institute of Anti-Palestinian Racism give a workshop in the seminar room across the atrium. So if you wanted to go to that, it's at 11 o'clock. Thanks.
Dr. Ahmed, تفضل.
Dr. Nidal, how are you, my friend? I missed you since the beginning of that webinar.
I'm not
I
a
asked
morning person, Dr. Ahmed. Sorry, I was come late.
You are in our heart, Dr. Nidal. My friend, I want to talk to my colleagues about severe acute malnutrition. As we are, all of us are doctors, they know what are the meaning of food crisis. Please, it is collective punishment. It is not lack of resources, it is deliberate suffocation, and suffocating the soul is worse than suffocating the body. But despite all this, Gaza doesn't die, inshallah. Bodies may collapse, but spirit remain proud. Flesh may be broken, but dignity stand tall. Speak of Gaza in the language of pain, in the language of truth. Write in your of truth. Write in your notes, this is child died from severe acute malnutrition, but in reality, he was killed by silence. Please, you are our voice. Everyone who are sharing this webinar or this Zoom, is our voice in United States, in the whole world. We are proud of you, of everyone who are sharing in this. Please you can imagine that this happening for any child in Gaza to be suffered from severe acute malnutrition while his father and his mother, they are seeing him and they are watching him while he's dying, and they are unavailable to just provide him a little of milk or a little of bread or a little of soup. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, Dr. Nidal. Thank you for Maisa and Karama and Alexis and everyone shared from Gaza and Dr. Mustafa Al-Barghouti. Thank you.
Dr. Ahmed himself, is he still talking? I see him too. Okay. So just to tell you that Dr. Ahmed himself is displaced. He and his family live in a tent, and their tent does not have internet. And he was gracious and generous enough to stay in the hospital after work just to be able to talk to us today. And this applies to all our colleagues. We were supposed to also have Dr. Muhammad Abu Salmiya talk to us today, but unfortunately, his brother and all his family were murdered earlier today, so he could not join us. This means that our colleagues, the doctors, the nurses, the paramedics, are targets themselves, they are starved themselves, are being murdered themselves, them and their families, and they are living the hardship like everyone in Gaza. So once Dr. Ahmed leaves here, he will have to go to his tent where he will be disconnected from the rest of the world. So thank you, Dr. Ahmed, for the extra effort to shed more light on what's happening in Gaza, to double down on the medical definition of genocide. Yesterday, I was asked at an event in Canada, why did you start Doctors Against Genocide? And the best answer that came to my mind at that moment, because there were children having a DAPCA group before us, I told them because of these children. We started it because of these children, because as doctors, as healthcare workers, our primary responsibility should be to protect life and especially to protect children. Our care for children, for their life, for their safety, and their parents, their families, is the main motivator why we started Doctors Against Genocide. And 2 years ago, if any one of us was asked, what does doctors and healthcare workers have to do with genocide? I think no one of us would have an answer. And we never felt that there is any connection between these two. Like, oh, what does doctors have to do with genocide? We just go to the hospital, we go to clinics, we work, and genocide is just history and distant memory. But unfortunately, the horrors that has been happening in Gaza and many other places in the world made it, as Karama mentioned, much more acute in our minds that fighting and combating genocide actually is and should be one of our main tasks. So we are coming with the medical definition of genocide. And the main point, if you don't remember, if you don't want to read this, is about prevention. In medicine, we always highlight prevention. This is the best way we can save the most life, is to prevent epidemics, pandemics, genocides, war crimes. Because if we can prevent one genocide, we can save more lives than what we can save in the hospitals for a decade. If we can prevent one war, we can save more lives than sending 1,000 medical missions. That's why we come up with vaccines, with screening for cancer and all these things, because prevention is key in medicine. And since genocide, it claimed more lives and more victims than all other wars and all other pandemics combined, as our colleague Alexis mentioned. This means genocide is actually should be taught as a main part of the curriculum in medicine, because we can save more lives by preventing these atrocities. So prevention is key, and that's why We, the doctors, as Dr. Karama mentioned, should be trained to detect all the prerequisites for genocide, including dehumanization, discrimination, ghettoizations, all the prerequisites of genocide, the stages that come before genocide. We should be trained to detect them early on in our communities, wherever we are, and use our leverage, our power, everything we can to pressure politicians to stop these crimes, to find peaceful solutions, peaceful protections, for these communities, the vulnerable communities, wherever they are, whether they are Black children here in the United States, immigrants, whether they are in Congo or Sudan or Gaza, because if we can solve or stop or prevent one war, one genocide, we will win. We can save more lives this way. So thank you everyone for being here. Again, prevention is key, and we are trying to change the definition of genocide because the medical community should be the primary one that calls it out. We don't want to wait for 10 years, 20 years for all these legal, lengthy deliberations to come and say this is a genocide 10 years after the damage has happened and after the victims are lost. Our care for life, for the protection of sanctity of life is too strong to wait for 10 years. We need to prevent the damage now as soon as we can. I think we're done with this panel.
Hi, everyone. So we're lucky today to have the Institute of Understanding Anti-Palestinian Racism with us. They're going to do a workshop in the seminar room across this hallway. This organization has been created to fight racism and end racism against Palestinians and their allies and advocates for the Palestinian cause. It's an amazing workshop, and I recommend anyone who's interested in learning more about how to recognize and fight anti-Palestinian racism to join them. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're gonna turn off the webinar portion for just 5 minutes, and then we're gonna restart it so that we can stream on all our social media channels. So to our friends in Gaza, we're just gonna shut it down for a minute and then come back. So if you can join us again so you can attend the rest of the webinar, we'd be grateful, but we understand time difference and connectivity, so really grateful to have you here. Yes, same thing applies to the participants. We're gonna re-log in to the webinar in the next 5 minutes. So please bear with us as we come back in 5 minutes. See you soon.